Every year, things can change. Sometimes it's small things that you barely notice, and sometimes it's the big ones that shift everything around you. A family member's passing is probably the most dreaded change anyone could imagine, but it's part of life, whether we like it or not. And so is sickness. A family member who used to be so full of energy can suddenly be stuck in bed, unable to do even the simplest thing they used to do every day. It changes the whole dynamic of the family, the traditions you thought were set in stone, and even the small habits that once felt automatic. Families are supposed to change and grow over the years. It's normal, but sometimes it does feel like it happened way too fast, like you just blink and everything's different. That's pretty much how I felt about this year's Eid. My cousin, whom I've always seen more like a little brother, wasn't there. Instead, he went to Mecca during the holiday, completely on his own. It felt weird not having him around the house, especially during a time that's always been about family for us. I used to wonder why parents would say they didn't want their kids to grow up fast. It seemed silly. Growing up sounded fun when I was younger. But now I get it. I can't even picture my cousin being alone in another country for longer than a minute without feeling a little uneasy. It's strange how these things sneak up on you. One day, you're all joking around and sharing a plate of snacks, and the next, they're off across the world, managing life without you. Back home, things weren't really standing still either. My grandma, whom we call Oma, has been catching up with her age a lot faster lately. She can't stand up for more than 5 minutes at a time now. It's not like we didn't know this day would come, but it still feels odd. Just a few years ago, she was able to walk around the house for hours, bossing everyone around during Eid preparation. Now she mostly stays in bed, calling out instruction from her room. Watching the way things have changed with her is a lot to take in. You always know grandparents get older, but when it's actually happening, it feels a lot more sudden than you expect. I guess I wasn't the only one feeling weird about all the changes this year. My aunt, out of nowhere, told me that I would be in charge of making the opor this year, the main event dish of Eid in our family. Honestly, I wasn't sure if I should feel proud or mildly panicked. Opor isn't just any dish, it's the dish. If the opor goes wrong, Eid lunch pretty much goes wrong. It's a lot of responsibility for someone who's never made it before. But maybe my aunt saw it as the perfect time. Maybe she realized I'm not the little kid running around the house anymore, and that I should start taking on more grown up tasks. I might have failed to notice it myself, but apparently my family has decided it was time to upgrade my role. And so, just like that, I became the person trusted with an important role. I wasn't exactly thrilled. I like eating opor. I never really thought much about how it got made. And when I did think about it, I imagined it was some complicated, long hour battle in the kitchen. It turns out it's not that bad. Not super easy either, but definitely not as terrifying as I had built it up in my head. The only catch was that I had to wake up at 2 in the morning to start cooking it. Apparently, that's the only way to make sure the dish is fresh and safe to eat later in the day. Waking up that early didn't really bother me. I actually have this weird superpower where if I sleep around 9 p.m., I will automatically wake up around 1 a.m. without even needing an alarm. It's strange but very convenient for things like this. But I set my alarm for 2 a.m. anyway, just to be safe. As expected, I woke up a little before 1, spent some time scrolling on my phone to shake off the sleepiness, and then dragged myself downstairs to the kitchen. Luckily, I had prepared most of the hard stuff the night before. I blended all the seasonings ahead of time, which made the actual cooking process way less stressful. All I had to do now was cook that blended seasoning, brown the chicken, throw everything into the pot, add in loads of water, coconut milk, adjust the seasoning, and let it cook. It was basically just a fancy soup, and soup is one of my favorite and easiest thing to make. You just dump a bunch of things into a pot and let them transform into something tasty. Very low maintenance, very satisfying. The one thing I didn't prepare for was how annoying it would be to wash a giant pot in a regular sized sink. It's like trying to wash a giant turtle in a fishbowl. I wrestled with it for a bit, gave it a decent wash, and decided to just let it go. It was too early in the morning to care that much. While I was getting the broth going, my aunt showed up to start working on sambal goreng ati, another essential eat dish. I love sambal goreng ati. I could probably eat a whole plate of it on its own. It was nice having her around, not just because she was making my favorite side dish, but because cooking alone at that hour felt a little too quiet. Having someone else in the kitchen made it feel like less like a chore, less like a chore, and more like a shared project. Cooking the opor turned out to be way smoother than I thought it would be. I cooked the seasoning until it smelled amazing, browned the chicken properly, added water to create the broth, and poured in the coconut milk at the right time. I kept tasting and adjusting the seasoning, which made me feel very professional in my pajamas. Everything just flowed naturally. I finished cooking just before everyone else in the house started waking up, which was perfect because another important mission of mine was to be the first to shower. I hate it when the bathroom floor is warm and wet from someone else's shower. There's something about that damp, humid air and the icky soak floor that just makes it feel grosser than it probably is. After 8 prayer, we all came back home and everyone immediately headed toward the food table. Nobody said anything dramatic about the opor. No one showered me with compliments or asked me for the secret recipe. And honestly, that was exactly what I wanted. It meant everything tasted like it was supposed to. It meant that the opor felt familiar, comforting, just like every other Eid we had before, even though so many things around us had changed. After everyone had eaten and the house started to quiet down, I found myself sitting by the window with a cup of tea, just kind of zoning out. It was that calm part of the day when all the noise settles and you can hear yourself think. That's when it really hit me. Everything felt different this year. Not just the obvious stuff like Oma being in bed or my cousin being away, but the more low-key changes too. Like how I wasn't just watching things happen around me anymore. I was actually part of it now, part of the reason things kept moving. Making the opera wasn't just about cooking. It was about being trusted to carry something that mattered. That trust felt like a quiet nod, like my family was telling me I was ready, even if they didn't say it out loud. It made me think that maybe one day someone younger will look at me the way I look at Oma now. And maybe I'll be the one passing things down without even realizing it. It's kind of a weird feeling, but not a bad one. Change doesn't always to mean something's missing. Sometimes it just means you're the one keeping things going now, even if it sneaks up on you when you least expect it. It's strange how you don't really notice those shifts until you're sitting with them in the quiet, letting them settle in.